Animal expert, Greg Woody.
Hi guys, how are we doing? You guys enjoying those wonderful pork chops over there? Oh, excuse me, you're not enjoying them yet, are you? They're pretty good. You just keep right on going there. I'm going to introduce you guys to Buddy. Buddy is a 7-year-old blue and gold macaw. Anybody's got one of these at home? It's a very unique characteristic. The scientists done a lot of thinking to name them. Blue and gold macaw, golly. Scarlet macaw, hyacinth macaw, it all ties into the color formation. It's hard to imagine, but these birds are pretty prolific. You take somebody across the floor as if you never even touched it. Whereas this bird, weighing approximately 3 pounds, is able to take with a beak, crack it open with preciseness, and get the center of it out to eat. Very unique on that characteristic. These birds being native to the tropics, you get up close, you look underneath the colored feathers. They don't have the small down feathers underneath that help keep them warm. That's the reason they are from the tropics, because they don't have the down to stay warm in the winter. Buddy, quit flirting with the girls. You got a job to do here. Does that look like an almond to you? Tell him to quit chewing on me. Suppose you'll listen? Probably not. If you ever come to our house, you knock on the door, you hear hello, don't assume it means we are home. Buddy has that down to a science. The other thing he does, you walk through the living room in the morning, he says, "Cracker, please." That's his way of saying he's hungry. You walk through the second time, you usually get another "cracker, please." The third time, you're getting your eardrums tested to see if he broke them because he wants attention, he wants his food now. What'd you do, leave me a calling card again? These birds, the reason they get the rap about squealing and being nuisance, stop and think, a bird of this size could tear the trim off the interior of your house if they wanted to. They live in large groups in the wild, usually bond for life, but you put a group of 100 of these guys together, if one's capable of being as destructive as I just said, multiply it out. You want to do your imitation, Buddy? Buddy does. You guys want to see Buddy do his imitation? Buddy's kind of like my kids. He drives me batty. Give Buddy a hand there, guys. Appreciate it. Slide him back in here. Are we having fun yet? I tell you what, it is amazing what goes on behind that little wall in that trailer. Right there, yeah. So I introduce you guys to Barney. Barney is a woodchuck. Barney. This is Brenda, excuse me. Barney was the one before Brenda. Barney's her boyfriend waiting at home. Brenda is about 4.5 months old. Anybody's not seen one of these around your property, check the neighbors, because they usually find the best alfalfa, the best clover field, or the barn foundation, or somewhere they don't really need to be. A unique characteristic about this girl versus the other animals around the fairgrounds, your cattle, your hogs, your sheep, their hide is tight. Whereas these guys, their hide is extremely loose, so therefore they're able to roll with the body and go through some tightly contoured places accordingly. We've always heard the old saying, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Got through it that time, didn't it? Well, with those teeth, they may not be able to chuck wood, but they darn sure hides the skin, because the other one we have at home has a few times. It's also hard to imagine this little girl, weighing about 7 to 8 pounds today, is going to weigh somewhere around 30 pounds when she's full grown. They usually have 4 to 5 offspring per litter, usually in the early part of April, and they wean them off at 6 weeks of age. Being a member of the rodent family, that is the reason they're very early maturing. Let's give Brenda a hand there, guys. Karen here. I guess we just have to move on along. Is nocturnal. Happens to be prehensile tail. Happens to be native to southern North America and northern South America. Any ideas? No guessing? Let's see if they got her out yet, because she usually stays held up in her pouch. We're going to introduce you guys to Sarah. Sarah is a kinkajou. She is one of the smaller subspecies in the kinkajou family. She is already full grown. She's almost a year old. These guys are also referred to as the honey bear because they have an extremely long tongue for their size. And as I say, being prehensile tail, they're able to hang at the top of the trees during the daylight to where they're safe, being nocturnal as they are. These guys are threatened, severely threatened in their natural habitat because they only have one offspring a year. So if you only have one a year, it takes quite a while to build the numbers back up if anything happens to the population. And they have about 7 needle-sharp, needle-sized teeth on each side, and they can be wicked little lords, can't they? A few voices of experience around a few places. Let's give Chris and Sarah a hand there. When they needed this hand, but anyway. Let's see if they happen to have the escapee under control. Keep going that direction next. Jiminy. No. Have fun, it's fair, right, guys? Oh, yeah. We got any American Idol fans out there? Simon Cowell's quiet, laid back, and easy going, right? Until he wants to be heard, he makes sure he's loud enough. Everybody hears him. You don't care who he runs over while he's doing it, and takes whatever he wants, right? Same thing. Our Simon happens to be native to Africa. He weighs about 7 pounds. And this is our Simon. This is a Hamadryas baboon. And as you can see, you always hear about life on Easy Street. This guy has it made. He was born by a parent that we had in transportation for another zoo out in Oregon State. Transporting him across country is extremely hard on the young ones. So therefore we pulled him and hand raised him. And as you can see, he can be quite a little ham. Anybody got a 2-year-old child out there or raised a child that's about 2? The thing to remember is this: you have something to look forward to if they grow up. This guy's going to be a 2-year-old for about 35 years. He's going to stand about 32 to 34 inches tall and weigh somewhere around 80, 90, maybe even 100 pounds. And they do have the attitude to go along with it, as I say. Very unique characteristic about this little guy. If he turns his head sideways, you see back on his cheeks, his skin is extremely loose on the cheeks. They form a pouch back there on both sides. So whenever the food's readily available, they just grab it and shove it in and hold it for later to where they can eat it when they're away from the others, to where they're not threatened so much with losing their food. What do you think of that, Simon? That a pretty good bottle? Can I have your bottle? Here, come here, bottle. Come here, bottle. I want it. I want it. See, I want it, okay? See? Did I not tell you, Simon Cowell's brother? Yeah, I'm picking on him. I ought to after the last show, but anyway. Anyway, have any Harry Potter fans out there? Do we? Think about this, kids, okay? Harry Potter. I'm going to go get an animal that ties into the Harry Potter book. Okay? Let's see how well we get along here. Hard to imagine this guy is only 4 months old. So he's only about 2/3 grown. When he's full grown, he's going to be about 9 pounds. And I introduce you guys to Cash. Good boy. Cash is an eagle owl native to Europe. He is not a horned owl, as many people say, because they see the tufts. This guy, as I said, is only 4.5 months old. Whenever he was about 2 months old, after we got him, he was consuming as many as 14 mice a day when he was growing his wing feathers. So they do a pretty good job of helping eliminate the population of rodents at night. You guys notice his eyes? What's the deal about his eyes? Turns his head a full 360 degrees. Unlike us, we are able to adjust and focus our eyes. He is not, because of the size of the eyes for being nocturnal. So therefore he rolls the whole head accordingly to watch particular items accordingly. That cool? He's a pretty good guy, isn't he? The thing I found after getting this one that was very unusual, very unique to me, owls, when they're born, be it the horned owl, eagle owl, or other species, they live in the nest for about 3 to 4 weeks of age. And then they drop down to the floor of the forest and they run around on the ground until they get to be about 3 months of age before they start flying. Very unique characteristic there. And as I say, Cash, wings. This guy's got about a 5.5 foot wingspan today. When he's full grown, he's going to be over 6.5 feet long. Wingspan accordingly. What do you think, bud? Huh? Now, you know, guys, I went in to get him. You'll notice my wife bringing out other animals for the show. I keep telling her that she's just got to get tough, because this is the only one of these double-lined leather gloves that we have, and I'm a wimp, and I don't want to go barehanded, so I tell her just get tough and go barehanded. She don't like that idea either. Learn this thing. What do you think, Cash? You'll notice also, just one little quick tidbit, right here on the back of his head, he's just finishing what they call fledging, which is when they lose their small down baby feathers and getting their primary adult feathers. Want to fly away? Wings, wings. Give Cash a hand there, guys. Appreciate it. We'll slide him back inside here. Seriously. Happens to be native to an island. All of these animals come from that one particular island. This happens to be a ringtail lemur, native to Madagascar. That wasn't quite as good as he normally does. This was the escapee. You will see how fast they move, how agile they move, how small they are. Now I ask you guys out there, if you laid down and your wife rubbed your back like that, wouldn't you be happy and content? Yeah, I see. That's what I get. Now if you'll notice this rubid boo here, if he turns just right, on his front shoulder, or the front forearms I should say, on both sides, he has a little black patch. That's a scent gland. It helps them mark their territory to let other animals know that that is their territory accordingly. All lemurs are native to Madagascar. This guy, ringtails, are very unique in another characteristic. They only spend about 15% of their time in trees, the other 85% of the time is spent on the ground. This guy happens to be unique in his own special way also. Lemurs usually only have twins, usually maturing at 2 to 3 years of age. This little guy here happens to be one of a litter of 4. We had a friend in Oregon, had a female a little over a year ago, had 4. She pulled them all, 4 being as small as they were, and hand raised them. She managed to raise 3 of the 4, but think about this, you talk about dedication. They had to be fed every 2 hours for the first 2 to 3 weeks. 24 hours a day every 2 hours. So you're living on hour naps here between. So needless to say, she didn't do nothing else accordingly. It's hard to imagine also, this little guy takes 2 bananas, an apple, a handful of grapes, and 8 monkey biscuits per day. So they are massive consumers for their body size. What do you think, Boo? He says, I really was having fun knocking everything off the top of the shelves, crossing the wires, and everything else inside the trailer. And the only thing I got to say is, if you're this slow now, honey, I don't know what you're going to be like by the time you get 10 years older. Give Boo and Karen a hand there, guys. Appreciate it. This is a muntjac deer skull. This is the smallest member of the deer family, the only one that grows an antler and a tusk. We happened to carry this animal with us in the petting zoo for a couple, 3 years. We had more fun watching people feed him. He turned his head just right and he realized that needle-sharp tusk just went across the top of their hand. These guys are referred to as the barking deer. To this day, when I hear one bark, I go to looking for that darn dog that don't belong on the property because they're very authentic sounding. They only weigh between 12 and 15 pounds when they're full grown. Again, very agile, very fast. We'll move on. Hope you guys have been in the petting zoo in there. We happen to have a few deer over on this side. So many people, when they see these antlers, what do they think? So when you usually see these antlers, they see them on a spotted deer. So immediately think it's a baby moose. The moose from North America and the fallow deer from Europe are the only 2 species that are born, moose and fallow deer are the only 2 that grow the palmated antler. Get ahead of myself. Too many things going on because I was also thinking of the axis deer back in the petting zoo and the fallow deer. Those are the only 2 species that are born spotted and remain spotted their entire life. Very unique characteristic on that part of it. But what I was also touching base on is this the size of all the yearling deer in northern Illinois? It's amazing the stories we hear. But these happen to be off our next animal's granddad. Come on, Blossom. There's Blossom. Blossom is a whitetail. Very unique characteristic. Notice the dark eyes. She is not an albino. She is white. They will breed true. White ones bred to white ones produce white ones. These happen to be off of her granddad. The reason we do this is to show you guys a couple things. A deer pedicle, which is the root of the deer antler, is just like your cuticle on your fingernail. Nobody's volunteering anyway. But you kids out there, the reason everybody's fingerprinted is because it's a unique ID. Nobody has the exact same fingerprint. Same situation with zebra and tigers. No 2 animals have the exact same stripe pattern. Therefore, it can be used for a form of identification. Hey guys, got a great little fair here. Appreciate everybody to come by and see us at Noble County Fair. See the rest of the animals in the zoo. We'll put this guy up. If you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them for you here in a few minutes. Thanks for coming by and enjoy the rest of the fair.